Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture 12 of Introduction to Programming course with C Sharp. So today we will continue from the previous week. Therefore, I am going to copy and paste it. So we will have separate directory. Actually, this is not necessary if you use GitHub repository system. However, it may be hard for you right now. Therefore, I will just copy and paste it. Okay, I'm going to open the application. So last week we have coded register system with password hashing and saving users into a text file, and we were also reading that text file to prevent multiple registrations. Okay, so let's open the interface. Okay, interface has arrived. Okay, so we have login tab and register tab. Register tab has been completed, if I remember correctly. You see we have coded a method in main functions which tries to register and takes as a parameter this. This means main window instance. Yeah, so this class is instance. And if the result is false, we show the result message as an error. If result is true, then we show you will be automatically logged in panel. Okay, so we will code this part after we have coded the login panel, login tab. Okay, so when the user clicks login button, we will go to the login click event. So let's compose the click event first for the login button. Okay, it is here. I will use the same approach for login. I will code a method here like try to register. So I'm copying and pasting this method. Like this, and try login. This time the name is try login. It also takes main Windows instance. This is the reference type. Therefore, we are able to access every element of main window itself with this reference passing. We will see about references and such in the following semester, so don't try to understand it at the moment. Okay, we don't need to check the username is valid or not anymore. Okay. And what we are going to check is we need to scan the users table and see whether password and username is matching or not. Okay. So we will also apply the same rules we have applied to inside register method. So what methods we have applied when we are registering? We have converted password to hashed version. Okay. Register text, password to string. Okay, let's open our binary. and we have users table here. Okay, you see they are correctly written, and we have used the file users file name, generated user format. Okay, so this generate user format is a method we are calling. So I'm going to format it like this to make it better readable. Okay, and let's open inside it. Okay, you see here we are using the username as it is, then we are using the separator here, then we calculate the password hash. We don't touch the password at all. So the username we are providing is already formatted, and which let's see. Okay, it appears that we also didn't apply any normalization to the username when we are saving it. We could trim the username beginning and ending or such, or convert it to lowercase, uppercase. However, we didn't do any of them because we are checking if it is valid or not. Therefore, I will just take it as it is. So in the try login method, we will scan the user's file and check whether that user exists or not. If it is exists, the password matches or not. Okay. So to do that, I can check each line and verify whether it exists or not. So this would be the primitive way, but this should be working for now. All right, so I will start from here with for each file read lines. So this will read file line by line. Okay. So I will not type the user txt like this, because if I change the name, I have to change everywhere its name in the program. Therefore, I will be using I think helper methods dot cr user file name like this, and we are per line. So I will split it into a list equal to split, and for splitting I will also not write the text as it is. I will be using parameter I have defined here. You see, character. So you see this is telling me that there is an error because it says I cannot convert string array into a string list. Therefore we are using to list method, which is a linQ method. Therefore it is not working right now. I am adding linQ library reference here like this, and when I have added it, you'll see there will be to list method extension appears. Now I have the list separated into, first one is username, second one is password but hashed password, and the third one is email. And before starting here, or we can also let's get them into a local, get the username and the password into a local parameter. Password equal to main window instance txt username, but you see there is login. This is the txt that I have defined in text box. I have defined it inside the login tab. And let's define the user entered password. Okay, this will be txt password. Okay, we haven't said it yet, I believe. Okay, so this will be password box, and we have named it. Oh, you see, we haven't named it yet. Password box login. Okay, let's name it like this. Okay. Password string. Then I will apply hash. How am I going to apply it? It was like this. Okay. And now I have username and password as I have saved it. So I am using this same format. Convert user entered values into the same format I have used. I register the user. Okay. All right. Then we are going to do check like this. We are NST line details. The first one is the username. If the username equal to user entered username, then I will check. Actually, I can check it advanced and if our user entered password equal to, you see this, the direction of this and this doesn't matter in this check. So the second second object of the list is password, and if they are both equal, then I will do the login operation. So in the login operation, what I am going to do is I will assign some public variables. So public static string sr user logged in name. Okay, this will be like this, and public static bool user logged in. This will be by default false. Okay, what else I can do? I can hold user logged in session time as well, and I can keep updating it, but it would be a bit advanced topic for now. I am not sure whether I should show it or not. Okay, no need that right now. So we will display the login username, and we will keep a parameter to check whether user logged in or not. All right, and since they are static, I can access them like this: logged in true, or yeah, I am going to define another method to login user, because I will be calling that method when user registered. Okay, so here public static, and let's say, yeah, to public static void to login. This will take reference of main window to call main window message box show I wonder if we can call message box show here. Probably we can't, therefore I am going to write here another method, display message, and it will take, by the way, this will be public, string as our message box show as our message. So I will explain why I will be using this, and this will take instance of main window. Let's say is window. Okay, and inside login, what else I'm going to take? I will take user logged in name. Okay, so in the do login method, I will log in the user. Okay, so this method will be called here. It is inside helper methods, and I will call do login. I will give this one here as reference, and I will also provide the entret username, and that's all. We will return from the method call. By the way, we don't need returning tuple this time. We will just return void, because I will show you another way of passing information to the user this time. And okay, this is enough. And if we haven't returned from this for each loop, that means that either the password or the username user has entered is incorrect. So we will do like this. Main window instance, and then I will click and I will call the method I have defined here. You see, display message. It is the method I have defined it inside main window class. You see, this is main window class, and I will call that method with display message, and I will tell that login error. The username and the password you have entered does not match any records in the system. Okay, you can display any message you want to the user, and it will return from this method call. Okay, so let's first try our application with incorrect login information to see whether it works or not. Therefore, I will call the main functions dot try login, and I will just provide this. So this means the instance of this class, main window itself. I think you will understand it as you use it. Okay. So let's put a breakpoint here to execute step by step. It is important debugging. Okay. You see, if you change the methodology here, you cannot start and do debug. This is important. So make sure that this is selected as debug for debugging. I will also show you right now how to make this application 64 bits. Currently this application is 32 bits. I think, let's see if we can see it from here. Details, and the application name is main window. let's check from here. Lecture 10. Okay, it doesn't show here the application details, properties. Anyway, currently application is by default 32 bits. To change it, we go to here and click configuration manager, and from configuration manager, by the way, you can also go there from I think project and properties. Yes. What I'm going to do is, you see, you can also change the target framework. We can move this to .NET 5.0. It is the latest. Yeah, let's modify it to latest one, .NET 5.0. Then currently it is rebooting the application. I will change the platform target. You see, it is any CPU, but I am going to change it to 64 bits. With 64 bits, you can use higher memory and it would work faster. Okay, then it is not saved yet. I click Control Save. It is saved. And from Configuration Manager. Okay, I think. Oh, this is the platform target. This is not related to that. Active debug, platform. Okay, from here, configuration. I will change. Yes, I think it should change right now. Let's try it. But it is still any CPU, therefore it won't be 64 bits. You see, now we have another folder created inside debug. It is .NET 5 Windows. So this is the latest directory it is running. And one more change we are going to make. We will change it to from configuration manager to new and 64 platform. So it has changed. Close. Okay, you see now it is x64, which means 64-bit application. And now there will be another folder generated when the application starts. Okay, let's check it. Interesting, it didn't generate. Oh, here. You see under binary folder, now we have x64, and inside it now we have debug, and inside it we have .NET 5. So I have to copy my previous user's file to here as well, because it was composed inside 32-bit application. Now I'm copying it here. Now it's available. Okay, from now on, it will work on this folder. You can also see it by click and open folder in Explorer and binary, and this is the latest folder it will be working on. Okay, so we have changed both the target framework from here to latest, and we have changed the target platform as well to 64-bit. And now we can test the login button. So I'm just writing something that is not valid, and I click login. Okay, it goes here. Then I will get inside of this method call. So if you click step over, it will just pass it, execute and pass it. However, if you click step into, it will enter inside the try login method. So here it will take the values I have entered like this, and the password becomes like this. It is after hash it. Then it will start reading the file. You see, I didn't provide any path. Therefore, it is by default checking the folder where the exe is running. So the exe, the currently running exe is this one. Therefore, it will check this folder. Okay. So I'm going to execute. The first line is like this. You see, for PHP and some values which we have defined. We can also see it on here. You see. Okay, it continues checking. So it compares the username and the entered password. They are not matching. So it continue. Then once the all records have been checked, it returns back. You see now my message is displayed. So let's see how it was displayed. Let's move to here. Okay, I am going to step into. You see now it is going back to my main window class instance, and it goes to the display message method. Could I use this from here directly like this? Would this work even if I have added the system windows? Let's check it. Will it work or not? It may work or it may not. I'm not sure. Yeah, it does work. So it appears that it is getting the instance of currently running window. Okay. However, you can also alternatively use this methodology. Okay, this is actually better because this way you ensure that it is being displayed from the current Windows instance. For example, if you happen to have, oh, okay. So I will show you where it wouldn't work. So let's say if this try login was running as a separate thread, but it would complicate the things if I show that. Never mind that for now. We are not working with multi-threading at the moment. However, if you were working in a multi-threading environment, the previous method would likely to fail. Actually, I can just show you that. So this is used for starting multi-thread, sub-thread actually. And if I do like this, it should throw an error. Okay, you see the calling thread cannot access this object because different thread owns it. All right, so under the multi-threading we can't use it. Okay, just ignore it for now. You will see it in next semester when I show you the multi-threaded programming. Okay, so our login check works right now, and I'm going to remove this because this is a better approach. Whenever it is possible, you should make methods for doing things, because let's say you wanted to change the format of displayed message, then you would have to modify everywhere. However, if you display them inside a method like here, let's say you can add some message here and it would affect all of the messages that are being displayed from this method call. Therefore, using methods is the best approach. Okay, now we have checked it and verified that password check works when it is invalid. And now let's check it for a correct password. And I will just call for now correct password and username entered. By the way, you see now we are increasing our passive parameters with this. I could have assigned this instance into a static global variable and access it from everywhere, like here. I could also do that and I wouldn't need to pass this parameter to everywhere. Okay, for example, I will change it and show that way as well, so you will get the idea. Here I will define public static main window, running window, let's name it. So by default this will be a null parameter. However, after components are initialized, I will assign it to from help methods dot running window equal to this, like this. So I will be assigning this window reference to this one, and I will be able to access now the main window from everywhere. So I am going to delete this, and you see now it is gone. When it is gone, therefore this is displaying error, and to fix it I will just use running window. You see now from any method, any class, I can access this, and this will be equal to the instance of running window. Okay, so let's first do a registration and test whether the logging part works, the part that we have coded until now. Test. Hey, okay. And let's define a password like this. I can click register. Then let's enter the password. Okay, you see you have successfully registered. Now you will be automatically logged in. We haven't coded the automatic logging in yet. So let's check our file under the x64. So it is 64 bits application. You see it requires me to reload. When I reload, okay, it has arrived. Here now I can test the correct login. So let's enter the password here and the username here and click login. Okay, you see correct password and username entered. Okay, so far our application is working. When you are coding a software, you should also go step by step. What I mean that you should complete a task, then move to next task. Okay, so not just code and then try to run the application and oh, there are so many errors. It is not the proper way. The proper way is continuing as you have done coding. Okay, so now I can code inside the login. What I'm going to do is I will assign this user login name as, okay, let's check it. You see we have provided the same name, therefore I'm going to differentiate them like this. Okay. And so this is the being static field inside helper methods, and this is being the parameter that is coming from do login, and there is user logged in true. Then we will disable register tab. Okay, so for accessing that tab, I will use running window instance and tab register. Enable it will be you see is enabled. Yes, it is get and set equal to false, and running window tab, let's say log it. We need another tab as well after we have done the login. So let's add another tab. Here, let's see the XML full size. I just did double click on the XML. Okay, here tab register we have, and okay, we have tab login. You see it has two grids. Where do we use these grids? Let's move to the okay, you see there is a grid which has been put incorrectly when we are dragging things over there and there. Now I have removed that unnecessary grid. You see, oh, it was used for separating this two. So let's just do like this. Okay, now they are displayed correctly. And let's just copy and paste another tab item to the end. Here, tab item, there will be a grid, and let's close the tab item as well, and this will be tab logged in header, let's say for example calculator, which will be your project. Okay, and this time what we are going to do is we will get to that logit in tab. Okay, we will show that. So running window dot tab login will be also disable it like this, and we will show tab logged in equal to true. Okay, is enabled. Oh, it is already enabled, so it will be is selected equal to true. Okay, so let's test if it is so far working or not. Okay, we can click all of them. Let's try to log in. Okay, you see calculator tab is selected and the other two tabs is now not clickable. I am not able to click them. This was something that I have wanted, therefore it is working as expected so far. All right, I will take a pause here. Okay, so we have disabled the register tab, login tab, and we have enabled the login tab. We have also set the username and login in user. Now I will display login in user on the interface. To do that, you see I'm going to take this down. how can we take down the top control? So there is top control, grid, top item, maybe margin. Let's see how does this look. Okay, 1 moment. Okay. So where should we display the user logged in message? You see, when I have added margin, it has become like this. So let's change the margin a bit. Okay, from left 0, right 0. I'm not sure though which one is left, right. Okay, left and top. Okay, so this is left, this is top. Let's make it 40, right and bottom probably. Yeah. Okay, then I will add a label to the right, left, top to display logged in user here. Okay, so let's give some properties to this label. Okay, for example, let's make it Comic Sans MS and 24 pixel. Okay. The design is totally up to you. I'm just doing something basic right now. Okay, let's return back to the code. And here I will make it empty. And or let's make it NA like this. Name login label. Okay, and inside the login method, I will set the content of the login label. You see, to access it, I need a running window instance, and from here, content equal to login username. Okay, so let's try. How does it work? How does it look? Okay, so let's use a account. Okay, you see now it is being displayed like this. The design is totally up to you how you design it. Okay, and like this. Okay, you see it has exceeded the space it has set by us. Therefore, I am going to move this here, make it like this, and let's make it text align centered. Okay, maybe we can make it from here. Font style. Not this one. Vertical alignments. Center. Horizontal alignment. Center. Let's try like this and see how does it look. Oh, you see there are multiple, so I'm going to remove them as well. So they were by default left and top. Oh, so they have really changed it, the alignment, not as we wish it. So this has aligned the item itself against the window, but I wanted to align the text, not the item itself. So I think it will be content alignment. Okay, alignment. Okay, horizontal content alignment center and vertical content alignment center. Okay, so this should align the content itself, not the item itself, the label itself. Oh, still like this. One moment. Okay. So the design is still not as we wanted. Therefore, okay, with vertical content alignment, horizontal content alignment. Okay. Okay, it is aligned as we wanted. Okay. So we just need to set its space again. Set its location, like this. Here. Actually, I want it to be right alignment. Okay, horizontal. Yes, like this. Okay, let's run it. The interface design is alone a special profession. So usually developers are separated into front-end design and back-end design. The front-end design designs the user interface, and the back-end design designs the back-end code. Being expert of both is usually hard, though possible. Okay, you see it wasn't visible. Why? Because of, I think, this panel. So this panel was overriding this one. Therefore, what I am going to do is, okay, not this one, you know, I will expand the margin here like this, and I will reduce this one like this. Let's see. Okay, now they are not conflicting, so let's rerun. Interesting, we are still not able to see it. Why it is being like this? Because probably because of the margins we are using. We can alternatively edit to inside our tabs. which may look better. How can we do that? We can do it like, I think, we can add a top item, and inside the tab item, instead of a grid, maybe we can show and or not tab item, but let's label to tab control. Okay, now let's see how does this look. It won't work as we wanted. Maybe there is a way to do it, but I don't know how to do it right now, because visual design is not something that I work a lot. So we can solve this problem with I think with using grid resources, grid column definitions. We can set you see we have used the grid in the register, and we can also compose a grid in the main panel as well. What I mean is we can separate this and the top itself. Okay, so you see now they are currently separated with 60 margin here. Instead we can separate them with a grid. So to do that, okay, you see it says your application is too grid. When we remove this, what happens? Okay, nothing happened. Maybe it was the cause of our problem. Let's try it. No. So we need to have 2 rows of grid. Okay, so let's look how we have done that here. Okay, we have done it here like this, and it is inside the grid itself. So here I will make it 2 grid row height. First one will be, let's say, 100. The second one will be 800, or let's make them like percent, and let's see how does it look. But there we have margins as well. They are not visible. Why? Let's make like this. And if we make it like this, we need to have, of course, we need to have grid column or grid row definition. So let's assign them as well. So I will make this as grid row 0 and the label will be grid row 1 like this. And let's see how they look now. Okay, now it is looking incorrectly. Row 0 and row 1. Maybe we need to remove this margin and this margin as well. Let's see what kind of difference it will make. Okay. Okay, what is this? Oh, now our panel is not visible. Maybe we need to add grid columns as well. Grid column definitions and column definition width equals to 800, and let's add grid column equal to 0 and grid column equal to 0. Let's see how will it look. Interesting. Okay, but I see the 800 here and 100 here. So okay, this is coming from interesting. Oh, I know the reason. Because this should be grid row 1 and this should be grid row 0. Because the label will be at the top, top position. Therefore, I'm going to also get this to top position. Okay, now we have the label as 100 pixel. It is just too much, by the way. Let's make it like 50 pixels. And let's see. Okay, now let's run the application and see how it looks. We have provided exact resolution right now. And okay, it is looking like this. When we make it bigger, it looks like this. Okay, you see now the size of our top panel and the label doesn't change because they are specified exactly as they are, and therefore I need to change the window size to something bigger. You see the window size is not matching the size of the panels. So let's set the window size something like this, and I will change the height to something like this. Okay. Okay, now the window size is bigger than the grid size we have defined. All right. Now when we run the application, we will see exactly as we wanted. Okay, you see now it is perfectly positioned, exactly positioned as we wanted. And let's do a login. Okay, you see. And we can add additional information as well. It's totally up to us. For example, in the helper method, we can add logged user like. Plus. Okay, so when the application first started, we need to make tab logged in disabled. And after the user has logged in, we need to make it enabled. Okay. All right. Because if user is not logged in, that panel should be disabled and not clickable. Okay, you see, I can't click calculator. I can click register and login. And let's log in. Okay, you see now I am able to log in. The other panels are disabled. To enable it back, I need to add a logout button. Okay, we can add it as a button to the tab control, which will be enabled once we log it in. Therefore, we can, I think, make it like, okay, tab item will be tab log out, and there will be logout. By default, this will be disabled and it won't have a grid. It will have click event, mouse double click, or do we have an on click event? Can we define? What you can do is pretty limited. Maybe we can add a button here. I am not sure will it work or not. I think I have shown you in the previous lecture. I will check that if I can't make right now. You see, I didn't memorize how to do it. Okay. Let's check it from our previous lecture. Okay. In lecture 9, we may have shown it. So let's open the source code. Okay, yeah, we have made it like this. Okay, so all right. It will be inside the top item, and the name will be logout, and on click I will make a new event. Let's set the width and height, button content. I won't provide image this time. I will just content does not have value, so the value should be not image but one moment. Okay, button name. I think I can provide the content here as log out. Okay. All right, and we have the name. Okay, the logout tab will be hidden by the at the beginning. Therefore, is visible false, is enabled false, and oh, it is read only. So how can I make it invisible? Visibility. And from the visibility, I can set it as visibility dot hidden. Okay. Enabled false. Okay. Then I will make it enabled once the user log it in by let's make it as visibility dot. Okay, it is not available. I need that using system Windows, and visible and enable true. All right, let's run the application to see whether it works so far or not. Okay, you see it is invisible. The height and width of the buttons also got bigger because I have set a height to the logout button. When I click register login, okay, it looks fine. And let's log in to test our button. Okay, it appeared like this. All right, when I click it, it should not be clickable. Okay, we will set it as well. It is not a problem. So the width and height of this was not enough. Let's make it auto width, and let's code the click event of the button, so it will run do logout. It will execute the log out, and I don't need the username anymore. So the login username will become NA once again. User login will be false. You may use these variables elsewhere in your application. Therefore, it is good to set it. So register enabled will be true. Login enabled will be true. Is selected will be false. Logged in is enabled will be false. Okay, and the logged in username will be equal to this one, NA, and we don't need to show any other message. Okay, the visibility will be once again hidden. Enabled will be false, and we will select by default the login tab is selected. Will be true. Okay, so we have cleared the values we have set once the user logged in. Okay. We didn't call this method yet, so I'm going to open the code and from main functions to logout or helper methods. Yeah, helper methods to logout. Okay. Okay, let's run the application. Okay, let's log in. You see, correct password and username entered, logout button appears. It is a bit different than the other tabs because it is a button. When I click it, you see we have logoed out and return it back to the old view. All right, it is working as expected. So let's change the login message. Okay, where we were doing it. Okay, inside try login. Okay, we call the do login method, and here we will say that you have successfully logged in. Okay. Okay, what is left is after the registration, we were going to redirect users. We were going to log in the user automatically. Therefore, let's go to our register method here, and it returns result. You see, I have right-clicked the method name and I click the find all references. It will show me at the bottom here all places where this method is called. So it was called here inside complete register. So if the result is true, we are showing like this. I can remove this if and I can add a return here like this. So if it is true, it will continue, and on here I will call okay, it is not auto selecting to login, and here I will provide the username of the user registered from this txt username login. Okay, that's it. You see, if the registration is false, by the way, not this one, txt register username. Okay, if the registration result is false, it will show the message and then return. It will never execute this part. Let's run the application to show you the logic. Okay, I will try to register with incorrect registration. Okay, you see username, your username cannot contain character 3 and it has returned. You see nothing happened. Now let's do a successful registration. And let's use this password. So I change the username. I add password. Still invalid email. Let's make it something like this. And click registers. Okay, once I click this OK button, it should redirect me to login method and it should automatically log me in. You have successfully logged in. You see logged user can register and calculator tab is opened, and then there is the logout button, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to click the logout button, and now we have logged out. By the way, I am showing you the buttons, the general architecture of the application. I don't want you to exactly do as I am doing here. Okay, you should design your interface, you should design your buttons. You should not just get my code and present me as your semester project. Okay. You should uniquely differentiate your software from the code I am doing here, from the examples I am doing here. You should get the main idea and make your software better than mine. You should use different, for example, usernames, your own usernames. You should define your own classes, methods, not just to use the ones I am doing here. I am teaching you to how to do things, but in your semester project, I am expecting better work from you. Okay, not just copying and pasting the code I am showing you, because it would be against the reason of my teachings. Okay, so you see this is still not working. I am going to make this button work as well. It is so simple. Okay, let's move to design. Do we have a click event for this? You see now I am not able to see the XAML at the same screen. To be able to see it at the same screen, what I need to do is clicking, I think maybe this. Okay, not full screen but half screen. Okay, I am not sure how he were doing it, but let's try to find it out. When I click this one, oh, it pop out. Okay, and let me test. Here, expand pane. Okay, with the expand pane button here, I am able to see both of them at the same screen. And when I select that button on the design interface, it should highlight this button here. Okay, it is highlighted. Okay, no click event is coded, so I will code a click event to it. Oh, not the text block. So this is a button with a text block. Okay, so I will compose the click event here. Click new event handler registration. And what it is going to do is simply top register is selected true. Okay, so simple. Let's run. Okay, it is working. Login, register. Okay. Okay, so I think this is enough for this week. Please watch the video at least 2 times if you can't understand it at the first time watching, because I am sure that it will affect you positively. Sometimes it may require you to watch 3 times. And meanwhile you are watching, please do codings yourself with a synchronization of me. It will help you tremendously to understand what we are doing. And this is at the lecture 10 we have first started building our application. At the lecture 11 we have continued, and at the lecture 12 in this one we have continued from lecture 11. Therefore these 3 lectures are using the same program base. You see it is still name it as lecture 10. All right, hopefully see you next week. End of lecture.